toughest strongman in history, right here.
It's not a beauty contest. This is strongman. Have to be alive. If you can't do that, then on the way we go.
Willkommen and welcome to the Giants Live Strongman podcast. Because we're going to be prodding him with some questions. I did that on purpose. It's a podcast, though, of course. The man with me now is 2 times Germany's strongest man, Deutschland. He is from Stuttgart, which is in the Baden-Württemberg area of Germany. And yeah, really, I've kind of murdered this opening, but we're going to roll with it anyway. Why not? Hey.
It's a podcast, like
Dennis,
you said.
Dennis Kulras, how are you, man?
I'm good. How are you?
Germany's champion. Why did it take you so long? You're twice champion now, but you were pretty good in 2016, the last time you did a Giants Live. What have you been doing?
The world is crazy. The world changes, you know. But to answer your question, I opened up a brand. I opened up a gym.
Okay.
And maybe the fans know I'm on YouTube.
Yes.
So I did many stuff. You know, I started with that strongman sport. I fell in love with strongman. And then so many things happened. And I don't want to say dragged me away from training, but so many athletes out there already talked about Martins and Brian said, or even the Stoltman brothers talked about it. When you do YouTube, you're not only an athlete anymore, it's work. So it drags you a little bit away from your results, from your...
For the good or the bad?
Yes.
You would say the bad more than the good?
Yeah, for the bad. So I thought, okay, let's do YouTube.
Let's start with what is your YouTube site?
Dennis Kulras.
Dennis Kulras.
Yes.
Because here's the thing, right? I know you have a big site. It's like 6 figures subscribers, right?
Yes.
But if you don't actually go writing in Kraftsport instead of strongman, that's like German for strongman.
Almost.
Almost. Did I get it wrong? Did I?
Almost.
It is Kraftsport. Is that not strongman? What does it translate?
If you translate strongman, it's starker Mann.
Starker man. I thought that was Swedish. Is it the same? Starker man. That's what.
Swedish is some starkaste man.
Okay.
Something like this.
My point is, right.
Yes.
I didn't realize that on our YouTube channel,
Yes.
4.5% of people watch in German, self-creating subtitles. There's a huge amount of people watching, but obviously they weren't watching. They're not watching it, and they don't go around looking for it. But they've started to accumulate more, and probably because of you. Thank you. So we get YouTube followers. But if you haven't seen Dennis, it's probably because the AI isn't serving it to you. Because you speak in German in your channel, right?
Yes.
But you can enjoy it with English subtitles, I'm sure.
I could do English subtitles, but I never did.
You should do.
Maybe.
You should do.
But my statistics says there are 98% German subscribers and viewers.
I'm going to blow you away with something. Okay? We're basically, when we started to do translations and subtitles, this is a YouTube chat now. We've totally gone off the wall here, but yeah. Our viewers now, it's like over 50% watch with subtitles on. We have Russian, Portuguese, Spanish, Korean, everybody. Once you just go in and start turning them on, auto translate it and just flick it.
That's a good idea.
Big time, because anyway, so we've now established that Dennis Kulras is on YouTube, and clearly knows what he's talking about.
so much to say, so much to talk about.
Please, Dennis, carry on with your thoughts on. It seems like every strong man has to be a manager, a hype guy, a doctor, a coach, and a YouTube expert these days, because you have to earn money out of it. It's not easy to make money. Tell us a little bit about your journey then.
So we met 2018 on World.
First time was 2016 in Iceland.
15 in Iceland, yeah. And that time I started with YouTube, and somebody were laughing at me. You're starting YouTube.
You were really into it in 2018.
And he is sitting in that room who was laughing about me when I was starting
Me?
YouTube.
How dare you? 2016, to be fair, we had our YouTube channel as well, but it wasn't going that well. Anyway.
So I started with YouTube, and the people liked it.
Yes.
You know, the strongman sport isn't that big in Germany, but it grew a lot.
Yes.
So the last 5 years, when I started with YouTube,
Yes.
we went from 3 leagues almost to 4 leagues, and on competitions, when we upload or opened the competition, after 2 hours, there are full with 60, 70 athletes. So the sport is growing. So and can you imagine, I open up a YouTube channel and the sport is growing and everything is growing. I open up a gym, I open up a brand. So there more and more comes. So that's what's happened. And then we started with strength festivals.
Let me take me back one step though.
Yeah.
What happened to Strength Wars? Because you were involved in that a bit, weren't you?
Yes, strength
I thought it
wars.
was brilliant, I must admit.
Yes, it was. I know that guy. I will work together with him in the next.
Andreas was his name?
Konrad.
With the blonde guy. Oh, Conrad was the Finnish guy, was he? Anyway, I don't know. It was a while ago since I watched them, but they were great.
They sold it to the United States, and then they've been over in the United States, doing some 1 or 2 episodes, and they never appeared.
Really? Who did they sell it to?
I don't know.
Fascinated to know about that story. Ah, that's a shame, isn't it? So and they basically sold the whole kind of IP, as it were, to the.
The concept was very good.
The concept was brilliant. The concept was excellent.
For
So-
someone who doesn't know, can you explain Strength Wars?
Strength Wars. It's kind of like Fight Club.
That's
First rule of Strength Wars is you put it on YouTube and hope everyone watches
that's
it.
a little bit too much.
Who's the dude with the mask, man? Basically, there was right. This is what it was, right? It was. You know, like you see that Korean thing with 100 fittest, that kind of stuff. It was just a new twist on it. It was head to heads.
Colin.
It was the original bodybuilder versus strongman versus climber. But it was a kind of meeting in a duel of
Colin.
gym strength. Yes.
Colin, there's one question.
Yes.
What was first, CrossFit or Strength Wars? Because Strength Wars is exactly what CrossFit is. So you have 10 times lifting an Atlas stone over a bar, then 250 kilo squat for 10 reps, then you have to do deadlifts, and then you have to do-
CrossFit was before Strength Wars.
Really?
100%. When was Strength Wars began? Probably 2011, 12, and ran until about 2016.
When CrossFit started, it came from
Okay, I think
military
the
training.
first ever one I think was happened in about 2007, and that was held on a farm from that Navy SEAL dude who still is very much involved.
He made that first competition on his own.
Yeah. Maybe even 2006. I might be wrong. So anyway,
2000.
2000.
2000.
I'm selling it way short. Then it was as early as 2000.
That's
But the first ever Strongman Games was what year? No, check that, because that's what I was talking about. Because CrossFit. That was that dude who made a very inappropriate comment who actually started it, and then him and the Navy SEAL guy then did the games, which was like a bit like what you're doing, which we're going to hear more about in a minute, which is a German basically festival of strength. Castles, having fun. He had a big ranch and he invited everyone for a showdown in CrossFit. And I think that was like 2006, 7. Look up the first CrossFit Games. There's got to be an answer on YouTube, man. On Google even. Anyway, while we're doing that, what was the answer for Strength Wars? When did that begin? And were you actually, how involved were you?
how I was.
Or were you just competing in it?
No, I was. He tried to make another concept. It was Titan Wars.
Titan Wars.
We made 2 episodes. It's Titan Wars is heavier from the weights and less endurance. It's more like
So did you want Espen Krauner?
yeah.
compete?
I competed against Johan, and Calvin de Ruyter was competing against a friend of me. We did some interesting disciplines.
Did you not do a stone off?
Yeah, you stole it the next year from me,
No.
and you did it at Worlds.
No, I didn't. It just reminded me. I suddenly thought, where did I get the idea
I
for
was-
the stone off from?
and I was sitting at home.
Well, and ours is totally different. Ours is like a whole row of them, isn't it?
No, the first
How
time
many
was
did you guys? How many did you and Espen Crowner do? That was brilliant, actually. They sat there with it was only like a 130 kilo.
Yeah.
It wasn't heavy enough, and you've almost killed yourselves lifting
yes,
it.
yes. The funny on my YouTube channel there's a behind the scene video after we were washing our hands on I don't know the English word, a sink, and we couldn't bend over, so we went down on our knees and
Did Espen Crowner lose it in the end, or did
yes,
you beat him?
yes. I did 17 reps and he only no 25.
It was like 25, yeah, it was in
Yes.
the 20s. I was watching it like, oh, this is awful. And then I think that, but listen, everyone steals from the great ideas, right? But that idea was stolen from something they were doing in Sweden.
No, I never saw that before.
But that's where it came from. I can tell you.
I never saw that before. The guy asked me, Dennis, what we can do with that stone. And I said, okay, we have a yoke. We do, I called it the Atlas Stone Death Match. And I said, Johan, can we do that? And he said, yes, of course. But I'm so, maybe I do 5 or 6 reps. I said, you have 30 seconds. I have 15 seconds and you have 15 seconds. You can breathe. You can breathe.
Time, yeah.
And we were looking in our face, and I said, one more time and one more time. We were dying. We were dying.
I still haven't got the perfect formula right for WSM, but anyway, I'm talking to myself here.
And you did
But
this.
we're getting closer now though, because it has to really be wrapped up in one television part at the end of the show. But it's genius because it gives you a guaranteed showdown.
Yes.
And it's gonna be painful, as long as you make it just light enough. But then you can't go on too long, or it doesn't fit in that television. But anyway, there you go. But it was genius. Well done. Thank you. That is that's really what stimulated. You're bloody right. I don't mind admitting it.
You saw the chain drag with Calvin de Ruyter and my friend Dennis Dressel.
There was one where they were sort of chained to each other and they had to pull each other out in a circle.
But at the end of the chain, there is a leather pocket. You have to go with your arm in like this.
Yeah.
And then the other pocket in this, and
Yeah.
then it's like a tug of war.
Yeah, tug of war, yeah.
But the chains, you can move the chain, and the chain is heavy.
Yeah.
So if you make a move, the chain makes the move, and until it's on your opponent's side, you can make a move. It's like a pole push, reverse, but very flexible.
I remember seeing that, and it looked like more like not so much a death match as a guaranteed injury match.
So, and if you cut out the scene now, what comes now, that we talk about the German press, then we have a problem.
Why are we not going to talk about the German press?
Yeah, because we are talking about events now.
Right. Okay. So so we'll just lead in like professionals and listen. You told me about the German press.
Yes.
Before the podcast, and you weren't going to tell me.
Yes.
And I said, "Will you announce it in the podcast?" And you said yes. And you want this to be a World's Strongest Man event. This is the first time I've heard this, by the way, folks. So
Yeah.
if this totally sucks, I'm going to pretend to look interested. Okay, so tell us a bit more about the. I'm fascinated to know about the old
the German press.
Das German press. Yeah.
We already did it on a festival. I have a festival. It's called the Iron Jungle. It's 1 week camping, party, lifting weights and stuff like that. But this is another thing we can talk about. And I built there the German press. It's a Viking press. Viking press, standing there.
Wunderbar.
And at the side, you have 4 Atlas stones.
Sehr gut.
You lift the first Atlas stone, load it on the Viking press. Then you have to lift up the Viking press and hold it on top that the stone is rolling from the Viking press down. So and you have to do that with all 4 stones. I did this from 100 to 160.
So you won't believe this. I've already written this event up.
Sorry, my English is not so good.
I've genuinely, I've drawn this event up. It's an event we're doing. Where did you get this from? You must have stolen it from me. That's a dude. Give me some skin. Ah, sucker, please. That's very good. I like that very much. I like it very much. I'll have to think about that one. For a long time, I've been thinking how you could do something that a stone would roll down, a bit like a bowling alley. There's a nice visual in that, isn't
Colin.
there? Whoa, whoa, whoa. So you've got
Colin.
something there.
Colin.
So hang on. So tell me how high is it?
I was thinking about the original idea was, but this is in German we say a Materialschlacht. That means a material battle. You need a lot of steel and you have to weld a lot. But you have good guys, you can do that. So imagine you have under the Viking press like a magazine, like where bullets come in. That means stone up, lift, the stone rolls. At the end there is a 180 degree and he comes back into the Viking press. So the Viking press gets heavier and heavier after every stone.
Okay, and what I don't get here is, okay, how does it get?
German engineering.
Okay, Vorsprung durch Technik, yeah. So you've got your fulcrum point, right? We call it a fulcrum, don't we? And then you got your lever arm, okay.
Yeah.
So here's you at the end. There's Dennis.
Yeah.
He puts a stone in there and it
Yeah.
rolls. Presumably the lightest stone or the heaviest. Is that the genius? There's the biggest that only goes in the last one.
If you do the magazine type,
Yeah.
all the stones are the same weight.
What if you did it so it rolled over the smallest? No, do you see what I mean? And then each one slotted in because it was smaller. That'd be cute, but probably wouldn't work. How do you get it to fall? So where does it fall into? Is there a cage or something halfway down?
You can do a cage or like a magazine. You know, the stones.
Like a gun clip magazine.
yeah. He rolls in over a platform. There is a spring, and then it can't go back.
So it is like a little cage, and it sits. But then the next stone is not going to.
You build the Viking press, and under the Viking press you have the same arms. And in the second floor, in the second layer, there are the clips. Stone comes in and can't go back.
That's
So
cute.
it's a little bit like the barrel, like squat type thing. Where
Yeah,
it's
but
Are we-
evolved.
Are we allowed to share the Nev genius, the chain?
Oh yeah.
You can
You can share my idea.
you can do that Atlas Stone Viking press even with barrels as well.
Yeah.
Yes, you could
But
do.
the light version is the Viking press goes up, the barrel rolls down and rolls on a on a platform, on a presenting platform where the barrels are laying. So you have to load all 4 barrels onto that presenting platform
Yeah.
or the stones.
Yeah. But have you built it so it's quite easy to get them out again?
Yeah.
And here's the next question: Is it presumably it's on the flat then? So you put it up and then you have to actually lift it for it. What's the chances it's going to come back and get you?
We tried it. We tried it with rookies, with very, very, very uneducated rookies.
Yeah. So they
with
go wild. Yeah.
They go
could
wild.
They could really mess up.
So they load this. I can show you a video later, or we can make a little clip inside.
I'm just thinking of I'm thinking of a. I don't know, not everything's German Durchsprechung. You weren't there in Hungary that time when there was some American guy pressing it. It was some Akos and Ashes machine. What a pile of shit! It actually snapped and fell off the fulcrum in the middle of the whole thing. The whole thing just collapsed. Anyway, I'm sure yours wouldn't, being German.
You load the stone in, then you lift the Viking press up, and then you have to press. And when you can't press and you let it fall down, it can happen that the stone jumps off.
Yeah.
Then you have to load the stone back. You have
Are we geeking out too much here for people, or are they going to?
I show you a video later. You have-
I think it's one of those. We're going to chuck you a free one back. See if anyone out there can do it. We should be more open about this. People have to come up with new ideas to keep our sport going, right?
40% I don't understand.
Okay.
Because he's talking so fast.
Like a winch, and you roll up a big thing of chain, right? Okay, it could be anything. Many different ideas. But this one of those ones was basically, let's say you're doing a deadlift hold, and chain is pouring in.
Yeah.
You know, something like that. Or you could be doing, every time you did a squat, then big links of chain, like almost like a ship's anchor going down, dung, 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 dung,
Yeah.
and fills up cages. It's quite a cute idea.
Yeah, you need to make that strongman sport, the events combined with some machine.
Hey, look at Rogue. They're doing well, aren't they? Rogus, that Roller-Rama thing.
Yeah, but
that's-
I have some ideas.
we must sprechen, mein Freund. I love thinking up ideas. I once thought of a massive catapult, like a trebuchet. You had to put the Atlas stone in there and then winch it back. And who could launch it the furthest? That'd be fun.
My idea was to make the trebuchet games.
Oh, hang on here. You're coming out with you just mimicking everything I say.
Listen. A trebuchet standing there. It's a team competition. So, and there are weights on the side. So the longest shot wins in 5 minutes. The question is, do you
Did I tell you this one in 2016?
do you load the trebuchet before you're dragging it, or you dragging it and carry the weights to the trebuchet? And you have to be in the time limit of 5 minutes to make the shot.
How much fun is it to see it fly?
Burning in the night, a burning stone.
This sounds like if you want to go to a near guaranteed death party.
Yes, of course.
How's the insurance on that one anyway?
We don't ask, so everything is okay. But back to the Viking press, we did that in a combination. I did a strength course on my festival. I called this machine the Soul Breaker. You have to, if you guys type in on YouTube Seelenbrecher, that's German. But Seelenbrecher.
Seelen.
Soul is die Seele and breaker is brechen. So 2 guys working in a team, and the funny thing, the Viking press with the Rolling Stone, you are standing on one side and I'm on the other side. So you bring the stone over the Viking press, and I have to load the stone into a basket. So we have to load all the 5 stones.
This is an interesting twist for the stone off. Lift a stone, press a stone.
And the guy has to make it back.
Hey Shred fans, I think it's a pretty well-known fact that Giants Live and the best strongmen in the world are rather partial to picking up a used car or two. But we must admit that our cars are never under 8 years old. And as for the engines, well, they don't even have engines.
That is so close! Wow, that's fast! He just attacked the car!
However, at Hey Car, you buy only the best used cars on the market. All cars come with a warranty, 10-day money-back guarantee, and they're sourced from selected dealers only.
Look at the speed! Wow!
Unlike our beat-up bangers, every car is under 8 years old and has less than 100,000 miles on the clock.
And I'm pretty sure it'll be a world record!
You could browse the range at heycar.co.uk, or why not go to the App Store or Google Play to download the Hey Car app. That's spelled HEYCAR.co.uk. See? Strong men can spell.
That was a great idea. I thought about this a couple of years ago.
The name of that event is the German press.
It is
Cut out.
There's Zeitgeist. What does Zeitgeist mean? How about that for a random question? Zeitgeist.
Zeitgeist.
Yeah.
It's hard to explain in English. Zeitgeist means...
But we use it in English as Zeitgeist.
Really?
Yeah, you don't know that?
No.
Would you use it as Zeitgeist?
I saw on Ozzy Osbourne's new record.
Yeah,
there's one song, Zeitgeist. And I said, huh?
It's the sort of. I think of it as like it's sort of the now.
The spirit of the Zeitgeist means the spirit of the society, of the human we have.
The feeling, like
Yeah, the spirit.
the feel, but like something's in the air, you know.
Yeah,
So that's it.
that's a Zeitgeist. Yeah.
And what is it? Zeitgeist is a ghost, huh?
Means time ghost. If you translate it straight into English.
Yeah.
But the funny thing is,
It's the funny thing.
you can't use tacky on those Atlas stones because you have to grab the Viking press.
Okay, the tacky will damage the system.
No. But the handles are full of tacky. That's not nice.
We must keep it clean. This is Vorsprung durch Technik, yeah.
No, that's the
Festa. Yeah.
no the loading like in the past the guys were loading stones with all tacky.
Yeah, but do you think that's a good thing?
First of
Sorry, you say the past. Tacky isn't like a modern like some modern. Tacky's just pine resin.
try
from
to
the tree.
try to press a 160 kilo stone on that Viking press. You don't go heavier than 160 kilo on the stones. Imagine you have to lift, walk, load, press, and this 4 times.
What I honestly, my final thought on that is, you'd have to build such a bulletproof thing for someone to be running in and. I can sort of remember Jeff Dolan back in too long ago. For you, 05 at the IFSA Worlds, he cut a finger off because they those, I think it was the IFSA circles, and they'd made them just a bit too kind of thin. Stone round there, stunk. Probably was like that much of a finger, but the story was he lost a finger.
I show you the video.
Okay, it's good.
Yeah, it's the whole soul breaker. I show you the video, the whole run, but the Viking press is safe. With the stone is safe. You have to adjust some small things, but it's safe. And if a German say it's safe, then it's safe.
It's QC. Okay. What's the history of OK or QC or whatever? Was it OK, isn't it? Yeah. So was that just like a German quality control guy, wasn't it? His name was like Oki Koki or something. Really, that's the origin of OK. Is a German quality control guy. I'm pretty sure. I'm full of facts, me. You still haven't come up. You haven't given us the CrossFit fact now.
OK is his letters,
basically he would stamp OK on, like, let's say Ford motor car. What's a good German name, like Otto Kunter or something, right? That's his name, right? Sounds a bit weird, but but Otto Kunter, I guess. Otto, and OK. Have I made that up?
I think you have, yeah.
I've known that since I was a child. Has someone told me that?
Probably.
Oh, jeez. I think I passed that on to a few thousand people. There we are. Dennis, I think because you're a busy man, you have Europe's Strongest Man tomorrow. Not that I want to timestamp this video because it's going to go out sometime in the future, but are you the Dennis Kulrus the German people are hoping for? Are you the savior of German strongman? Can you do damage at Europe's? Can you go to Worlds and put in a good showing that will make?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, no doubt.
No doubt.
Yes.
You have Log actually. Log is in the heats, isn't it? In the World's Strongest Man.
World's Strongest Man is this year very good. I have a very strong dumbbell. I have a 130 kilo dumbbell.
Got to make the final to get that though. So you got to get through Log.
First of all, I need an invite.
Yeah, well, this is what Europe's Strongest Man's all about.
Oh, never told me that before.
Didn't I? Well, this is proof. This is proof that I don't go. Not everything's behind the scenes. You're actually finding out right now.
So communication and stuff like that is.
Listen, communication's never been my strong point. Let's be honest.
Communication is key.
But thank you to Heinz, by the way, if you're listening to this podcast. Yeah. Heinz Olesch, for old school strongman fans. The man from München. He's Bavarian, isn't he? Bavarian boy?
He's Bavarian from Rosenheim.
And we're going to start working a lot more with Heinz coming up, and I'm looking forward to it. He's a good guy, and he's dished us up you again. So I'm fascinated to see.
Like I told you, there's 100,000 subscribers on YouTube. What I have, the strength sport we're growing or is growing in Germany like hell. So Heinz is uploading a competition, and it needs 2 hours. We are packed with 80 people. So the sport is growing and growing and growing. So my advice to all athletes, international, start with YouTube. It's a very useful weapon.
Do you want to know something? In 2008, it was either RDF or ZDF. Now, if you're American, that's like ABC and CBS. One of them came in big time. They wanted to be a part of World's Strongest Man. And of course, it was
German TV.
Yeah, you never saw it, did you?
ARD.
You never saw it on German TV.
No.
Germany is the second biggest television market in the world. You guys are rich. Come to Europe. Germans are the richest, right? And you got 80 million of you, right? And you guys should be. You should have a World's Strongest Man.
That's the
I'll tell you what.
it's the
I used to
first and
bobsleigh.
second.
I used to bobsleigh against your dudes. And these guys were like. They were like cavemen, man. They were like throwback monsters from the Bavarian woods. These guys were tough, and it amazes me we still haven't had, you and Heinz and Godzilla, and that's about it over the last 30 years. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. Where am I going with this ridiculous story anyway? What am I talking about? I don't know where I'm going with this one. Anyway, what was I saying? I've lost my brain. Yes, ZDF, I think it was ZDF bought it, that's what it was. ZDF buy it for a lot of money. Germany's going in big, German TV's going in prime time on Strongman. And I was tasked with finding lots of good German strongmen, and I did. I found the very best of German strongmen, and every one of them was last in every heat. And the German television went, we're not airing this. It was like the moment for Germany to step up with some great guys, and they just couldn't produce it. It was so bad, it was embarrassing. So if that opportunity came again, I hope there would be 3 or 4 more other guys from Germany who could step up. We must get more guys, strength and depth from Germany.
Yeah.
It's the difference it would make to strongman would be off the scale. And you at the moment, you and Heinz are the guys doing it, and you're doing a lot for it. Underground works. We must speak to these. I'd like to speak to the Strength Wars guys. Maybe we should do something with them as well.
Colin, talk with the people, and talk more with Heinz and me. A little bit more communication is good.
They're Volks. Isn't that people? This is the weirdest podcast ever. I thank you very much, sir. Could you give me, just to finish, can you give me a little bit about a little motto for life and a couple of thoughts about how you live your life? Truly, no fooling around. What's the essence of who you are? Yeah. Maybe a motto, maybe a thoughts.
All the stuff what I did the last years. Courage. Courage is everything. Courage, because if you don't follow the courage what you have, or if you don't have courage, then get some, and don't regret.
Don't regret.
Yeah.
Do you regret anything?
No.
What is the meaning of life?
The meaning of life is identity. The people go crazy nowadays because they don't have identity. You have your identity. You're Colin Bryce. I have my identity as well. If I win tomorrow, or if I get 5th or 2nd, or you know me, I know you. We know those 2 guys. But there are people on that planet, nobody knows about them. And those people, they getting lost in the society what gets bigger and bigger. Can you imagine that?
So they want an identity.
They want an identity. Just for example, if you go to a small village, the people, they look, I don't want to say normal, but when you go to a big city, the people look more and more crazy. Tattoos, piercings, and all the stuff. You know, the people looking for, they looking for Aufmerksamkeit is the German word.
So basically, what's the German word? I love German words.
Aufmerksamkeit.
Aufmerksamkeit.
Attention.
But is it to be an identity, to be a part of our kind of wolf pack kind of thing, or what?
Yes. Yes. Loneliness kills. Not the body, but the soul.
That's quite a thought.
And the people nowadays, when we meet each other, I say, hey, Colin, how are you? There's some small talk, but there is no real meeting where we can sit down and talk, because there's no more time. Because we have to make here and there and go there and there. And I think you lose identity. We have we have jobs, we have everything, but there is a big part of the society what don't have. this, and I think this is.
What's happening in Germany at the moment? What's the big violence erupting over?
In my opinion, the German government's treating the wrong problems. There is only green energy. There is only we have to get rid of petrol. We only need the green energy. You know, this wave. But you see what happens in Europe, and you see what happens in the world. It's get more and more crazy, and that's my opinion. What happens in Germany, and the people.
I guess they feel very far removed from their government, probably.
Yes.
I think COVID's got a lot to answer for. There was a lot of solo period of time.
Yes, COVID was for the loneliness for the people as well.
Yeah. I always think, imagine being a wee kid, a little kid, you know, ein Kinder, you know, and being like in a city in London during that, in an apartment with, you know, just maybe a single mom who's trying to still go out and work as a nurse. Imagine it, you almost destroy kids' minds, wouldn't it? Like all that lack of interaction. I don't know. Thank God I had a family. It's true. I think what you said there it's made me think. Yeah.
So, and there are many people in Germany. One day I said to a guy when I was starting with YouTube, I may be that guy who drags the a little bit too big guys who's sitting behind their video game on TV. Maybe I dragged them into the gym or into training, because when you open up YouTube, there is only six pack, and some, you know, the high end stuff, you know. And then I started, and the people said, "Wow, okay, he has a belly. He don't have the six pack and stuff like that." I gave some people an identity. And that's my opinion why my channel was good.
They identified with you.
Yes. They say, okay, he's big. And I have those legend stones in Germany. I have stones all around the German map.
What are they called in German?
Same, legend stones.
Oh, right. Sorry, I'm just...
And there is one stone in Berlin. There is one stone in Munich. There is one stone in Cologne. And I lifted the stone to the shoulder or overhead, you know, and with a hammer and chisel I put a sign in. And every stone has a YouTube channel, a YouTube video. And in that YouTube video there is a Google Map link. And all the young kids can travel to that stone and try to lift I did. And they get in a Hall of Fame. So and there are maybe some young chubby kids, they think, okay, Dennis is a little bit chubby, I'm chubby, I'm strong too, and they go there and try to lift. And there are guys, they training now for 3-4 years to lift that stone. And somebody can lift the stone now. And this is the identity I'm talking about.
Nice work.
So he has 3 or 4, he has nothing else to do. But he's training 3 or 4 years to lift that stone.
It's a purpose.
It's a decision. It's built up from courage.
It's a goal.
Yes, and that's what the people need. An identity. I train now for that stone. And that's what many people don't have.
And it's every goal and journey is just as important. It's interesting, fascinating. Dennis Kulrus, I thank you very much. Dankeschön.
Bitteschön.
Merci beaucoup. We are so European, no? In England.
Paris is a little bit wild now.
What do you think? What do you think? Last one. What do you think of us Brits doing Brexit? What do the Germans really think? Do they think, wow, what a success? Those clever Brits. Or do you feel kind of sorry for us for making such a cluster of it all?
I don't know the situation here. How it's get more and more expensive in England.
Yeah, I guess it's more expensive everywhere because of other inflationary reasons like wars. But yeah,
why England went out of the European Union?
Oh, I think why?
Why? Why
Big-
Brexit?
Why Brexit? I think a lot of people were somewhat hoodwinked into thinking they would have a better life. They were sold a better life on it. Did that happen? Obviously not. But I don't suppose COVID and a war have done it much good. So, but there's been a pretty bad Brexit effect. I think. And I don't like being polarizing and moving away. I think it's very bad. Just exactly what you were talking about there. I think that I'm all for friendship and communication, and there's no need to be too overly nationalistic. If you can be friends with 80 years ago we might be shooting each other.
Yeah.
120 years ago, 110 years ago, whatever it was, we might have been shooting each other. We've got a good history of us Brits and Germans of shooting each other.
The ground in Europe is full of blood.
Yes. And I don't think it's a good
And
thing
we
moving
would
away.
be naive if we think now it will stop.
Oh, don't tell me we're going to have to shoot each other at some point. I was quite enjoying it. I was quite getting on with you there.
Colin, Europe is crazy. So
Dennis, you're a
you very
great
much.
man. Thank you, sir. Dennis Gulrus! What year was CrossFit?